The world's oceans are full of spooky creatures and animals that look like they originated in a nightmare. Today, I'll be taking a look at some of the most hideous animals on the planet. Join me for a look at 15 of the most terrifying sea creatures.
Deep sea dragonfish. Fish can be cool, and dragons are awesome, but a dragonfish? Maybe not so much. But that's what's living down there in the trenches waiting for you. And unlike the Dumbo octopus, the deep-sea dragonfish looks anything but harmless. That's because they got a nice set of oversized teeth and a face that would feel more at home in your nightmares. Even though it's technically a fish, it takes on the appearance of an eel, since it doesn't have any scales and has some slimy, slippery skin. The dragonfish is only about 6 inches in length and lives between 700 to 6,000 feet below the surface, where the light and warmth cease to exist. And since it spends its life in the dark, the dragonfish has bioluminescent body parts, which gives it a creepy glow. It'll use that natural glow to communicate with other fish, camouflage, and use it to attract some unsuspecting prey right into its mouth. Some of these dragonfish have even evolved to give off a red glow, which isn't a typical color for bioluminescent ocean dwellers. The jury is still out on this red light adaptation, but it's pretty likely they use it to shed some light on their prey before they chow down. Number 14. Goblin Shark. Goblins and sharks. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, and the goblin shark fits into that saying perfectly. These things don't look pretty. The goblin shark has a snout that sticks out more like a sword than it does a nose, and just below it is a big nasty set of protruding jaws, which look too big for the shark's face. The goblin shark's skin is pink instead of the usual gray. When this thing's coming right at you, it's pretty hard to miss. That's also thanks to its oddly large size, growing up to 12 feet long. But then again, since they live down in the Mariana Trench at about 3,000 feet below the surface, the odds of a run-in are slim to none. The older the goblin shark gets, the deeper they can dive, falling deeper and deeper into the dark maw of the abyss. But since they live so deep in the trench, not much is known about them outside of their ghastly appearance. And since no one knows how the goblin shark reproduces, you can't rule out the theory that one is born every time a person has a nightmare. Number 13. Atlantic wolffish. This incredible undersea creature may not look like it, but it definitely lives up to its name. The face of the Atlantic wolffish almost looks like an eel, and they can grow up to 5 feet long. They live amongst the rocks of the North Atlantic off the coast, and subsist on other creatures like crabs, sea urchins, and mollusks. Its large head and incredibly powerful jaws allows the Atlantic wolffish to crack through shells and exoskeletons of even the toughest aquatic animals. Surprisingly, this incredible undersea creature plays a very important role in maintaining the balance of their ecosystems, because their diet typically consists of crustaceans. They keep the green crabs and urchin populations at bay, because when left unchecked, the crabs and urchins can disrupt habitats. Think of the Atlantic wolffish as the hunter of the sea. Unfortunately, though, it's yet another undersea creature that falls victim to both overfishing and bycatch. Number 12. Stargazer Fish. When you go for a deep-sea dive, it's easy to feel like there are millions of unseen eyes staring right back at you. The stargazer fish is no exception. Found mostly in the Atlantic and Mediterranean, the stargazer fish's eye sits right on top of its head, and they have an upward-facing jaw. They blend into the seabed and wait ever so patiently for their meal to swim right above them. And before the prey even know what hit them, it's over. They've been gobbled up in a flash, never to be seen again. This makes the stargazer fish what's known as an ambush predator. This mean-looking undersea creature also has venomous spines to help stun and catch its prey, and some species can even deliver electric shocks. Surprisingly, though, the stargazer fish is considered a delicacy in some countries and cultures. Number 11. Lionfish. Sometimes looks can kill, and that's exactly the case with this gorgeous fish. The lionfish is certainly characterized by its beautiful colors, stripes, long fins, and spines, but it's their venomous fin rays that pack a real punch. These big guys are quite admirable, but without a doubt best viewed from afar, because they're incredibly dangerous to humans. And if you're stung by one of these lionfish, you can be sure to expect extreme pain, a fever, nausea, vomiting, heartburn, numbness, difficulty breathing, and sometimes diarrhea. Not a fun time. Often in nature, when an animal can't quite blend into its surroundings and hide safely, then it's just gonna have to kill you, and that's what these beautiful colors will let you know. In some rare cases, its sting can even be fatal. The lionfish is native to the Indo-Pacific waters and likes to hang out near the edges of the reefs and lagoons, and on the rocky surfaces down to around 150 feet. If you do manage to see one in the wild, their impressive lion-like mane will be a dead giveaway, and bonus points if you manage to get one for your home aquarium. Number 10. Mantis Shrimp. The mantis shrimp is one beautiful underwater creature that you've got to see. But don't let its looks fool you, because this is one creature that you do not want to mess around with. Plenty of land animals love to fight, but go beneath the ocean's surface and you'll find different types of fight club. Despite its name, the mantis shrimp is a close relative of crabs and lobsters, but certainly comes with more fantastic colors. If you get a little too close, the mantis shrimp isn't going to pinch you with one of its claws, no. It's much worse than that. The mantis shrimp will deck you, pow, right in a kisser. And I'm not joking either, because the mantis shrimp holds the all-time record for the fastest punch in the animal kingdom. It uses its club-like appendage to kill its prey with a blow that delivers as much force as a shot from a rifle. Their appendage accelerates at 10,000 times the rate of gravity and reaches a max speed of 50 miles an hour. It's like getting hit by a car. The mantis shrimp club moves at those speeds in just a fraction of a second, so if you blink, it's too late. But to make things even wilder, the pressure generated by the strike is so great that it produces a flash of light so bright and so hot that the water in front of the mantis shrimp will boil. It's punching, killing, and cooking its victims in one fell swoop. Number 9. Bull Shark. While we've certainly covered our fair share of terrifying sea creatures, most of them don't really pose a threat to humans. Too bad though, that isn't the case with this next entry. There are over 1,000 species of shark, but the bull shark happens to be one of the deadliest. Sharks don't really have a taste for human flesh, but their brains are a little too small to tell the difference between us and a seal, until they chomp down a little bit on a limb or two. The bull shark will pretty much go for anything. That's because they're as unpredictable as they are aggressive, so much so that they've been categorized as one of the big three, which are the sharks that tend to attack humans the most. They may not be the largest species of shark out there, but they're still growing up to 8 feet long and weighing 300 pounds, which is still big enough to cause some serious damage. The majority of the shark attacks in the world happen in the shallows, where swimmers and waders tend to hang out. And for a bull shark, this is prime real estate. And if you see one out there, chances are it's too late, because a human will never ever outswim a bull shark. And just because you're in the ocean, don't assume you're safe, because the bull shark can often make their way up rivers as well. They only need 3 feet of water to strike, and that's no bull. Number 8. Sarcastic Fringehead. The undersea creature known as the sarcastic fringehead is totally harmless to humans, but that doesn't mean they're not scary looking. These little guys only grow to be about 8 inches long and live in the holes dug by other fish. Luckily, the sarcastic fringehead typically prefers to feast on fish eggs, but those jaws make it look incredibly sinister. They're also very territorial, and if you get too close, they'll happily open up their insane jaw as an act of intimidation. They can open their mouths incredibly wide, spreading their mandibles out in a violent display that makes them look like the predator ready to attack Arnold. But the kicker here is that many of them display these beautiful colors that are hard to take your eyes off of. And maybe that's the point, as the sarcastic fringehead gets ready to take your eye out. These little guys live anywhere between 3 to 60 feet beneath the surface of the warmer waters off the coast of California, specifically Baja. It's not uncommon to hear scuba divers talk about running into these epic-jawed sea monsters who may mistake their fingers for fish sticks when they get a little too close. Number 7. Megamouth Shark. The last thing anyone wants to see while scuba diving or snorkeling is a shark, and while many of them may just swim by you without a care, the fear is very real. But one shark in particular is guaranteed to make your heart skip a beat: the Megamouth Shark. This thing is a big, dark gray filter feeder, so it almost always swims with its mouth open, letting you gaze into the deep abyss of its jaw. Luckily for us humans, though, they're filter feeders, meaning they haven't acquired that taste for sweet flesh. They're also incredibly rare. The Megamouth shark was first discovered in 1976, and since that time, less than 100 of them have ever been seen in the wild or caught. But the thing about gentle giants is that they're still giants, meaning they're still terrifying. They can grow to be around 16 feet long, and as far as we know, live in the waters around California. During the day, Megamouth sharks dive down to an average depth of about 500 feet, but it's at night when they really come alive and make their way up to anywhere between 40 and 80 feet below the surface. So all of you night swimmers have something to look forward to next time you go for a summer's night dip. These guys look like prehistoric beasts that have eluded both humans and time for centuries and are just waiting to show you the dark secrets of the deep. Number 6. Hagfish. Alright, we've seen a fair amount of sea creatures today that prove you don't have to be harmful to be horrifying, and the hagfish really pushes the boundary of that notion. Hagfish don't have jaws, meaning they're never going to chomp down on you, but they make up for it with 2 rows of teeth-like structures made of keratin. These eldritch-looking sea creatures use these faux teeth to bury deep into the carcasses on the sea floor and go to town on the decaying meat. And to help themselves eat faster and get those big, full, juicy bites, the hagfish will tie their tails into a knot to help generate speed and torque to increase the force of their bites. What the hell was evolution thinking when they came up with this thing? And as of yet, there are 76 species of hagfish roaming around the ocean looking for their next meal, and some of them can even grow to be 40 inches long. That's pretty damn big. But the strange life of the hagfish doesn't end there. Aside from their mean teeth, they secrete a thick, disgusting ooze that makes them not only hard to catch, but makes them completely unappealing to predators. It's absolutely disgusting, but a great way to keep predators from taking a bite out of them. And while we may never be exposed to hagfish in the wild, these slimers can come a little too close for comfort. In 2017, when over 7,500 pounds worth of hagfish were splattered all over a highway in Oregon after a transportation operation went horribly wrong. Needless to say, it was a sticky situation. Number 5. Great White Shark. Alright, it's about time the king of the ocean showed up on here. And no, we're not talking about Poseidon, we're talking about the Great White Shark. Probably the most notorious fish in the sea, the Great White Shark is the last thing you want to see staring at you. With an enormous jaw that it unhinges at will to open up even wider, and those big black beady eyes, it's the stuff of nightmares. On average, a great white shark can grow to be 20 feet long and weigh well over 4,000 pounds, which is bigger than a lot of the boats they come across closer to shore. It's without a doubt the ocean's most feared predator, and like so many other sharks, the great white has a tough time telling the difference between a human and any other creature. So they're more than happy to take a bite out of you to figure out just what you are. And being bit by a great white shark is not easy to overcome. Even the smallest of the great white's great bites can take a limb or result in death from blood loss. It's bad news all around. These sharks also have the biggest jaws of any carnivorous shark and are found worldwide, meaning no one is truly safe from their grasp. Oh, and did I mention that they can swim at speeds of up to 35 miles an hour? Trying to outswim one of these is like trying to outrun a car. There's a good reason why there's an entire movie franchise dedicated to the great white shark. Number 4. Barrel-eye fish. The barrel-eye fish certainly has a unique look to it, but it looks more like nature got bored with it before finishing the design. But because they live in what's known as the midnight zone, the barrel-eye fish needs every advantage it can when it comes to catching glimpses of light. It could mean the difference between catching a meal and going hungry. The barrel-eye fish has tubular eyes that point straight up, which lets them see silhouettes of their prey. So anything swimming in the Mariana Trench could easily have one of these guys staring right back up at them and be none the wiser. That's pretty creepy. But to make matters worse, the barrel-eye fish has a transparent head you can see right through. No one's 100% sure why they have this clear-headed adaptation. The general consensus is they use it to catch just a little more light, which would give them an edge over fellow predators. Humans hadn't discovered this strange-looking fish until 1939, when one was brought up from 2,500 feet below the surface. When you're coming up from those depths, your body collapses from the change in pressure, making it look even more nightmarish. Nowadays, scientists and researchers have remotely operated vehicles that will let them catch a glimpse of the barrel-eye fish without rupturing its organs. Number 3. Box jellyfish. We've seen fast swimmers, sharp teeth, and fish named after mythological beasts, but now it's time to enter the world of the box jellyfish. Chances are we've all encountered a harmless swarm of jellyfish at the beach and poked and prodded them with a stick or thrown them around at kids. But if you ever run into the box jellyfish out in the wild, you need to stay far away, very far away. They may look beautiful, but their stings can cause anything from a simple red rash to death from paralysis. They're small, but they're no joke, and are the most venomous marine animal in the world. The box jellyfish love the warm coastal waters in the Indo-Pacific region, but northern Australia seems to be their favorite hangout. It seems that in Australia, there is no shortage of deadly creatures on land, so why should the sea be any different, I guess? They get their name from their box-shaped bodies, but their long tentacles make them pretty easy to recognize. The tentacles act as a bit of a booby trap to other fish, ensnaring their prey before delivering stings from its tiny darts known as nematocysts, which kill anything they catch. And while the box jellyfish feels fine just floating around, they can move on their own at 4 miles an hour. Now that may not sound very fast, but your average human is only going to swim about 2 miles an hour, meaning the box jellyfish can outswim you. Number 2. Lampreys. Sometimes the oldest creatures are the scariest, and the lamprey is no exception to that rule. These long, slimy, squiggly creatures belong to an ancient lineage of jawless fish. But just because they don't have jaws doesn't mean they don't have teeth. Lampreys look like the monsters of science fiction horror nightmares, with a toothed oral disc where their mouth would be. They use this disc to latch on to their prey and start eating, and once it's on you, it's pretty tough to get it off. And when you do eventually rip it from your body, they're taking some flesh and blood with them. And if the lampreys lose some teeth, new ones simply grow back in their place. While there are species of lamprey that prefer to make a meal of algae, there are the carnivorous species. Those will eat just about every part of their prey from fin to vertebrae. While lampreys typically leave humans alone, if they're hungry enough, they'll go for a taste, and they can grow to be about 3 feet long, so just imagine seeing one of them wriggling around as it hangs onto you. Number 1. Goliath tigerfish. Now, what could possibly be the most terrifying sea creature? How about the Goliath tigerfish? Yeah, a name like that doesn't leave too much to the imagination. The Goliath tigerfish can grow to be 5 feet long, about 100 pounds, and have teeth that look like knives that allow them to snap their prey in half in one bite. These horrifying fish are found in the waters around Africa, and despite their aggression, ferociousness, and penchant for biting humans, are considered a top prize for many local fishermen. Because of their sheer size, a Goliath tigerfish provides enough meat to provide a small family and can be fried or grilled. People say it is pretty good. But getting one is pretty hard, because while many fish will avoid us humans, the Goliath tigerfish couldn't care less. It will swim right up to people without a care in the world, as if it knows just how deadly it is. They're also apex predators, which allows them to live without fear for up to 15 years, and they're known to hide their vulnerable eggs. But once they've reached adulthood, the Goliath tigerfish prefers to ambush their prey. They're incredibly strong swimmers too, so they can thrive in the choppy currents that cause other fish to slow down. But not only is this sea creature terrifying, it's downright hideous.